Jayo Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Jayo Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivana Hari Gopi Jana Ballabha Yashodanandana Gajanandana Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Jayo Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Gopi Jana Ballabha Gopi Jana Ballabha Yashodanandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivana Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivana Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Jayo Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivana Hari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivana Hari Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Tira Vanachari Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gurvani Pracharine Nirvaseja Sunyavahari Bhattacharya Satarine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gurvani Pracharine Nirvaseja Sunyavahari Bhattacharya Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Jaya Sri Krishna Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devyam Sarasatyam Vyasam
Devyam Saraswatim Vyasam
Vito Jayam Adirayet
Jayam Udirayet.
Srimad Bhagavatam. Can you turn that fan on there? If anybody, we need fans, we get it. I just can't. It's so hot, I can't hardly go. It's my body, I guess, but I just get so hot in here. Canto 1, Chapter 14, text number 41.
41.
Kachitam Brahmanam Balam
Kashitam Brahmanam
Gambridham Roginam Striyam
Gambridham Roginam Srinam
Sarano Pashtam Sattvam
Sarino Astram Satam
Sarano Pashritam Sattvam
Sharanam Astritam Satvam
Nachakshi Sharana Pradaha
Natyashi Sharana Pradaha
Kachitam Brahmanam Balam
Kashitam Brahmanam Balavam
Gambridham Roginam Striyam
Gambridham Roginam Srinam
Sarano Pashtam Sattvam
Sharano Pastram
Still
Satvam
messing that one up. It's that Pashritam. Sarano Pashritam Sattvam
Sharano Pastram Satvam
Natyakshi Sharana Padam
Natyaksi Sharana Pradaha
Kachitam Bamanam Balam
Kachitam Brahmanam Balam
Gambridham Roginam Striyam
Gambridham Roginam Srinam
Sarano Pashritam Sattvam
Sarano Pastram Satvam
Natyakshi Sharano Pradaha
Natyaksi Sharana Pradaha Kachitam Brahmanam Balam
Kachitam Brahmanam Balam
Gambridham Roginam Striyam
Gambridham Roginam Striyam
Sarano Pastritam Satvam
Sarano Pashritam Sattvam
Natyakshi Sharana Pradaha
Natyakshi Sharana Pradaha
Kachitvam brahmanam balam
Kachitam Brahmanam
Gamridham rodinam sriyam
Gamridham rodinam sriyam
Sharanopasritam sattvam
Sharanopasritam sattvam
Nadyakshi sharana pradha
Nadyakshi sharana pradha.
Ladies.
Achitvam Ramanam Balam
Achitam Varanam
Gamridham Roginam Striyam
Gamridham rodinam sriyam
Sharanopashritam Sattvam
Sharanopasritam sattvam
Natyakshi Sharana Pradaha
Nadyakshi sharana pradha.
Achitvam Ramanam Balam
Achitam Brahmanam balam
Gamridham Roginam Striyam
Gamridham rodinam sriyam
Sharanopashritam Sattvam
Sharanopasritam sattvam
Natyakshi Sharana Pradaha
Nadyakshi sharana pradha.
Gachitvam brahmanam balam
Achitam Brahmanam balam
Gamridham roginam striyam
Gamridham rodinam sriyam
Sharanopasritam sattvam
Sharanopasritam sattvam
Nadyakshi sharana pradaha
Nadyakshi sharana pradha.
Kachit,
Kachit
weather.
weather
Tvam,
Tvam
yourself.
yourself
Brahmanam,
Brahmanam
the Brahmins.
the Brahmanas
Balam,
Balam
the child.
the child.
It's funny because that word means so many different things. It also means strength, power, potency. Balaram and Balam, the child. Gam,
Gam
the cow.
the cow.
Dridham,
Dridham
old.
old.
Roginam,
Roginam
the disease.
the disease.
Striyam,
Striyam
the woman.
the woman.
Sadhana apashritam,
Sarna
having approached for protection.
having approached for protection.
Shatvam,
Sadvam
any living being.
any living being.
Na,
Na
weather.
weather.
Atyakshi,
Adyakshi
not given shelter.
not given shelter.
Sadhana prada,
Sarna
deserving protection.
deserving protection.
Translation, I'll say it first and then please repeat. You're always the protector of the deserving living being.
Yeah.
Do that. Let's do it like that. I'll say one sentence and I'll say. You're always the protector of the deserving living being.
You are always the protector of the deserving living beings,
Such as Brahmins,
such as Brahmanas,
children,
children,
cows,
cows,
women,
women,
and the diseased.
and the diseased.
Could you not give them protection
Could you not give them protection
when they approached you for shelter?
when they approached you for shelter?
Translation. You are always the protector of the deserving living beings, such as Brahmins, children, cows, women, and the diseased. Could you not give them protection when they approached you for shelter? Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
The Brahmins who are always engaged in researching knowledge for the society's welfare work, both materially and spiritually, deserve the protection of the king in all respects. Similarly, the children of the state, the cow, the diseased person, the woman, and the old man specifically require the protection of the state or a Kshatriya king. If such living beings do not get protection by the Kshatriya of the royal order or by the state, it is certainly shameful for the Kshatriya or the state. If such things had actually happened to Arjuna, Maharaj Yudhishthira was anxious to know about these discrepancies. So again, this is revelations of a wonderful culture that Srila Prabhupada has introduced us to in the West. It's called the Vedic culture. It's a very interesting subject matter because when you discuss Vedic culture, not just discussing cultural customs, you're discussing an energetic creation that comes at the time of creation. In other words, this Varnashram system comes with the Lord's energy when it's created. It's part of the creation. It's not like, we decided, later on, let's divide it up and, you be the Sudra, you be the Brahmana, it works or somehow. It's already there in the energetic manifestation of material nature. In other words, you're going to fall under a certain energy according to your karmic destiny, your consciousness, all that. You fall into that endemic energy that's already existing. Now you can transcend that, you can change that, so it's not absolute. But the point being is that when one takes birth in this material world, he's coming into an energetic paradigm that's already existing. This is not some made-up thing. This is existing. All these energies are existing. And understanding them and being able to deal with them in the proper productive way is the secret of the Vedic knowledge. The Vedas teach us how to live in Varnashram. I used to think Varnashram was like something for people who were not into Krishna consciousness or something. It's like, okay, you guys go be your, Kshatriya thing, whatever, I'm just going to be transcendental and chant Hare Krishna. In a sense, in a way, we're kind of like that because Vaishnavas are transcendental to the modes of material nature. But Srila Prabhupada re-emphasized over and over and over again that this Varnashram system is what brings people back home, back to Godhead. So, what is it? How does that work? How is it that the Varnashram system, which is a manifestation of the modes of material nature, actually is meant to be implemented to bring people to the highest spiritual level? You have to be very sincere and honest and understand that everything is coming from Krishna. Everything. Every little tick that you have is a manifestation of a dynamic energy coming from the Supreme Absolute Truth. And it all has a connected reality. It's all choreographed in a sense. We can't maybe not always understand it. That's why the energies around us, like, I don't understand some of the old ones, but on the farm for so many years, I've observed things and I see it. And I know something's going on with it. I don't have any reference. I almost bought a book in India, but it was so expensive. Like, even in India it was expensive. A big book like this, Omens, and they wanted like, thousands and thousands of rupees. And I was like, my God, what is this? But it was a big book. It was on, and I had it in my hands. I looked at it and I thought, I'm in Vrindavan. I can't spend this kind of money on a book, So I left it. And I went back looking later and I couldn't find it. But there is a science of omens in the Vedas. And these omens, all they are indications of what energies are coming. That's all. It's not like, the cow laying on this side or that side means something, it's got to make something happen. There is a correlated connection between all the dynamics, just like this body is one holistic unit, right? If you have sinus congestion, that's due to some other disturbance matched throughout the body. You understand, holistically, it's all connected. It's not independent, right? So in the same way, the universe, everything is connected. Everything is connected to the absolute reservoir of all energies. That is real knowledge. That is why Prabhupada was so confident when he would postulate, you don't need anything else. This knowledge, this is the greatest science. All you need is this. Why? Because he understood the science of it. It's not a religious faith. It's a spiritual science that is all there for the sincere observer to see. And there's also ways you can cheat. Maya, who is another energy of the Lord, is created to give you a chance to not surrender to this Varnashram process. How? You can be very creative. There's all sorts of ways. The mind will put out so many things. We were talking about it. I was talking with someone yesterday about it, how the mind can come up with ways that, we can consider that, surrendering to Krishna is for less intelligent people or something. For people who, who are not, once you become fixed. I think with my daughter Amrita, we were doing a parody about it, how once you're fixed in materially speaking, you're above, these other, it's like we were just being facetious about how the mind can come up with all these conclusions for ways to do what we ultimately are guilty of because we're in this material world, and that is that we want it to be separate. We want to be independent of Krishna. That's the paradigm. If you can just break it down, you don't have to get all sentimental about it. It's just a basic fact. We rebelled against Krishna. Everybody agree to that?
Yes.
Okay. We ran away from home. We're sitting in the bus station right now, right? My daddy's on the phone trying to call us, and we don't. No, I'm not going home yet. So later on, when we get burned up enough, we realize we're hungry. We don't even know we call daddy up. That's out of in the material world. That's the parody that I always say. We run away from home, and we're saying, "I don't need you. I'm on my own. I'm a man now, right?" But then after a little while, maybe I'll just get $50, So it's like we are dependent on Krishna. But Krishna allows us to play this little game of trying to be independent. Why? Because we have minute independence. Because why? Because Krishna is supremely independent, so it's scientifically there that we have minute independence. So our highest level of perfection is when we're situated in a loving exchange with Krishna, Radha and Krishna. That's a fact. That's the highest level of our eternal identity, when we're situated in a loving reciprocation between Radha and Krishna. So you say, well, why don't Krishna, Prabhupada put the question out, saying, why don't Krishna just make you loving? Prabhupada said, that's not love. Krishna could make you loving. He could make you have no choice. But all you see is Krishna, like he could brainwash you to the max. You would never know what hit you. You would just always be Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. But the truth is, that's not love. So this is the most wonderful part of knowledge of Krishna consciousness. You are totally free. You have your independence, your free will. But you also reach a state of where you're perfected and you're loving this person so much. You're so grateful to this person. You're so attached to this person. You think of nothing else but this person. This person is the cynosure of all your thoughts, all your deeds, everything. Not artificially, but because they're so attractive. This is the truth. That's our state. That's where we're going. That's where we belong. In that state where we are always thinking, you are so beautiful. Everything about you makes me so happy. When I see you, all I want to do is just follow you around and take the dust from your feet. Everything you do when you play your flute, no one can move. Everyone's frozen. You're so beautiful. You play your flute so nicely. Huh? That's what we're thinking. That's what we're feeling. You're not thinking, oh, I wish I could have bought that house. I wish I could have got that car. I wish I could have, if I had just had one more chance at that, blah, blah, blah. We're not thinking like that. You're thinking, what a weird dream I had. That's what Prabhupada said. It's how you remember it. It's like a nightmare. You had a nightmare. They would ask him, well, will you fall again? Prabhupada said, once you touch the stove, you don't touch it again. You learn your lesson, right? So the point being is that what generates us to do that? The science of the soul. What generates us to do that? Everybody knows every day we think of one thing. We're feeling some impetus to find some type of pleasure, some reciprocal pleasure. We're always thinking of some reciprocal pleasure. Whether it's the birds outside or the kitty cat that we're feeding or fresh air in the country and beautiful nature and the sunshine. We all have some reciprocal relationship with other energies to bring us pleasure. It's just human. It's the nature of the soul, as she was pointing out. It's the nature of the soul to have that reciprocal, loving relationship with Krishna. That's science. So then people say, well, you have to believe. You think you have to believe. Prabhupada pointed out, yes, it's a fact. We have a need to love someone. Huh? He said, just like you have a need for water, you have a need for air, you have a need for sunshine. So they're created for you. That's why you have a need. They're there. So we have a need to love Krishna. We have that need. It's not that we're creating that need. We have that need already. Krishna's there. We didn't create Krishna. We have the need because Krishna's there. Krishna's not there because we have the need. Krishna's eternally existing. He's so, beyond our perception. We cannot even begin to perceive how Krishna enjoys. Even the great sages, it explains. Even Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, they're all bewildered. They're bewildered by Krishna. And they say, we can't comprehend even a little bit of you. Even a drop of your activities, your transcendental nature is beyond our comprehension. And yet, here's the kicker, and yet you can hold him in your arms.
Joy. Can't wait.
You see? That's the science of bhakti. It is so real. It is so wonderful. It is so perfect. You can actually embrace Krishna. You can actually be with Krishna like Sudam. He lays down on the floor beside Krishna at night when he sleeps. Huh? Sometimes when Krishna's getting dressed, he'll hit Sudam in the head with his flute. And then the counter boys, they go out every day to play in the fields. Every day. Every day. But does it matter which day? It doesn't matter. The days or day and night doesn't matter. Everything they're doing is this ecstatic thing. You say, well, that's utopium. That's grandiose. That's euphoric. You got some kind of hallucination. No, it's beyond your wildest dreams and conceptions. Therefore, your misconceptions. Therefore, you cannot possibly comprehend it. We're not foolish. You're just being a cheater and a rascal and a liar and dishonest. Because you're saying this cannot exist, even though we can manifest the desire for that. Everybody wants to be in that perfect utopian state, right? So why can't, what makes us think it doesn't exist? It's because we can't allow ourselves the freedom to accept the Vedic knowledge as it's handed down by the great. They explain. Lord Brahma says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Saksarananda Vigraha Nadir Adi Govinda Sarvakarakarnam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Krishna's there. He's all attractive. He's the supreme person. He's Adi Purusha. But every day we're missing that relationship. Except for those who are fortunate, like here. You're very fortunate souls. Each one of us is very fortunate. We just don't realize how fortunate we are. Sometimes we need somebody to come forward and say, Prabhu, look, you're really fortunate. You're very, very fortunate. This is the most greatly benedictive energy you could ever find. You won't find anything better than this. There's nothing better than this. It's a fact. And Prabhupada points out, Krishna appears in his archer form. He is the archer form. So Prabhupada said, you can see Krishna every day. You can see Krishna just like he gave you all know the famous story where the man was in the temple and he was standing up, some Indian man said, can you see God? And the deities were there, and the man was standing, Prabhupada said, yes, but you're in my way. So the point being is that, yes, Krishna's here every day. Now, it's all about perception. When we come in the temple room, do we see Krishna dancing and playing his flute? Radharani smiling at us with her hand in benedictive state. This is benediction. Radharani's hand is here in benediction. She's saying, take my blessings. Oh, we take them? I'm saying I take them. I say, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to take them. I don't know what to do. But I know every day, when I come to the temple, I see Srimati Radharani and I think Srimati Radharani's, benedicting me. And I'm thinking, no, it can't be. It can't be. Then I thought, well, that's what Prabhupada says. That's what Krishna says. So therefore, Srimati Radharani, she may be smiling at me saying, I'm so happy to see you. I can't wait to get you back in the pleasure groves of Vrindavan so you can enjoy our eternal Leela. Why have you left? And I'm going to tell Krishna about you. If I tell Krishna about you, he can't resist you. That's the science. People may think we're just being naive or something, but we're not. That's the science. If we come, and Srimati Radharani looks at us and sees us in a kirtan one day saying, look at that person. He's really dancing for me. He's looking at me and saying, Radhe, 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 Radhe. Every day. Radhe. You go to Vrindavan, what do you hear?
Radhe.
Radhe. Everywhere you go, every store, what do you hear? Radhe. How many times a day do we say Radhe? Prabhu's holding his ears. I'll bust your eardrums. with transcendental knowledge. I'll give you spiritual eardrums. Because why? This body is a lump of stew, and we're carrying it around. Here in front of us, we have the greatest of all pleasures, happiness awaiting us. And we're just kind of like, somehow or another, we keep hanging on to this state of not really being aware of the nature of Srimad Radharani's mercy. You may think I'm crazy. Some people may think like that. They may have some valid point. But the point being is, what I'm saying is not crazy. Srimati Radharani can benedict us with Krishna Prema. How? By this mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada knows we're not fit to be Vaishnavas. He knows we're not. He knows what we are. He knows we're cheaters. I mean, 90% of us come to Krishna consciousness looking for something other than pure devotional service. So, what are we looking for? We're looking for some pleasure, some happiness, but Krishna tricks us. Prabhupada gives us some prasadam. Prabhupada gives us the holy name. Prabhupada gives us... Eventually, if we keep coming, one day we realize, hey, I think I want to really be a Hare Krishna. I think I really want to worship Krishna. I think I really want to take shelter of Srimati Radharani. As you get old, it's easier, of course. But I'm just saying, you reach a point where you realize, oh my God, all those years when I'm just trying to pray and trying to pray and trying to pray, it paid off. Now I'm trying to pray, and at some point, at some juncture, you start realizing, hey, I'm getting ready to die. No one here is going to help me. No one's going to save me. No one can stop me from dying. And I'm going to make a journey. What journey am I going to make? Everybody's got to make the journey. Every soul has to make the journey. I am poised to continue my journey to serve Srila Prabhupada. It's a fact. It's a scientific fact. The nature of the soul, when you leave your body, whatever you're thinking, to that state you attain without fail. Right? So if we're thinking, Srila Prabhupada, I want to stay in this Hare Krishna movement, I want to be your servant eternally, that's not like some kind of weird desire. It's natural. Why? Because you don't have enough time in this short lifetime to perfect yourself. You're still hanging on to your attachments that you were born with. We have these attachments we don't let go. And I'm not going to try to get in and analyze them, but we all have attachments. So these attachments are there, and we keep clinging to them, we're not realizing that's what's holding me back, is my attachments. And the attachments are difficult to give up. I was talking with someone about they were trying to stop smoking, and I was explaining it's very difficult, but you'll have to pray to Super Soul in the heart to let you know just how negative that action is, to make you feel it in your heart, to be afraid of it, to be just totally disgusted by it. That's the only way you can do it. People try to give up addictions all the time. They get jailhouse religion. I'm going to go to the temple every day. I'm going to be, and then we don't do it. Because the mind and Maya keeps us from doing it. So it's a struggle to give up these attachments. So you're saying, well, why is not everybody here dancing in ecstasy? Because we have attachments. We know it. I mean, it's not like any of us here could say we don't have attachments. We all have some attachments. But these attachments gradually go away, Prabhupada said. They gradually become purified. The heart gradually becomes purified by the process of every day continuing to chant Hare Krishna in Kirtan and Ajapa, and to read Prabhupada's books. You know, for me, reading Prabhupada's books is my saving grace. Without Prabhupada's books, I would not be able to make it. I wouldn't. Because I don't have any entertainment in my life. I'm miserable. You know, you may think, oh, you have the urge, you have this. I'm so miserable in the material world. So now I look, oh, God, this material world is so miserable. Then you have to die. You know, what is this all about, right? How can I enjoy? There's no enjoyment here, especially when you get old. People want me to, won't you come here and go here and go this place with me? I said, I got to stay close to the bathroom and the medicine cabinet. I can't leave the bathroom or the medicine cabinet. That's my business right now. So, you know, the old age is like you're miserable, basically. There's no happiness here. So what can you find as happiness? I'm reading about how, believe it or not, there's personalities in Srimad Bhagavatam that we don't hear very much about, but very significant, and Daksha was one of them. How many times has anybody heard a lot about Daksha, right? Daksha was this incredible personality that had a real history. Krishna actually appeared to Daksha. Lord Narayan came to Daksha. There's two Dakshas, the same person. Yeah, a lot of people don't know. First one, you know, he got his head cut off. And he put a goat head on, right? Well, he had to then leave his body and come back again as a progenitor. And so in that state, he performed incredible austerities. call the Sukha, what is it? Prayers?
Purusha Sukta?
Huh?
Not Purusha Sukta?
Sorry.
No. What's the prayers that Daksha said? You got it? The prayers that that Daksha offered to the Lord, something Sukha. But anyway, he offered these prayers. You'll find it in a second. If anybody can look that up on your little poem for me, I appreciate it. So he offered these prayers to Lord Krishna. These prayers are just unbelievable. And they're not, he didn't make them up, though. He's repeating a prayer. So this is a standard prayer. So if one was actually erudite and spiritually developed our consciousness, we can look in Bhagavatam, you can find this prayer. You can take this very prayer. It's like Dhruva Maharaj. We know Dhruva Maharaj, he chanted Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya and reached perfection. There was some lady coming to my shop. She had this horrible fungal infection. We fought it for like 2 years. She much improved. The doctors had given up. They wanted to do chemotherapy on her. And she did all this treatment. She finally got to where she was practically just clear, totally clear. But then she was having a little bit of a relapse, and she was like freaking out. And so, because I fought it with these oils that I couldn't get anymore, I used them up, and I had to make more, blah, 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 so I was kind of struggling a little bit. But I had some stuff, and I sat her down, and I said, listen, what you need is a mantra. I said, if you chant this mantra, you will clear up this disease. And she said, okay, well, what is that? So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I said, chant this mantra every day, 3 times a day. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I swear to God. She started chanting. She came back to me. She totally cleared up, and she said, that mantra worked great. And I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, right? I'm just giving her something because she needed something, and I'm desperate. I don't know what to do. I give her a mantra that's very famous. I thought, well, Dhruva Maharaj was given this by Narada Muni, and I thought, it can't be any harm in giving her this mantra to chant, The point being is that, giving this healing, this chanting, this process of trying our best to help. And, we all have to want to help. It's a nature of the soul. We all want to give this knowledge. But we want to become perfect in ourselves. And so when we hear these prayers, like Daksha's prayer, did y'all find out what the name of it is?
Still looking at it. I haven't seen it really
It's a prayers by Daksha to Lord Krishna.
Oh, 2 words.
That's what I'm looking for.
Prayer, Daksha's prayer.
Was it to Lord Shiva or Lord
Huh? It's in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's in the 6th canto.
Sixth canto?
6th canto, yeah. 6th canto. I think it is 6. I think it's 6.1. Yeah, 6.1 probably. Okay. But anyway, it's prayers by Daksha, the Purusha Sukha prayers or something like that. But not Purusha Sukha, but something like that. Guya Sukha or something. But anyway, this prayer, it's only about 2 paragraphs long. But Prabhupada likes to talk about it as his prayer at length. Because it really, when you read the prayer and you really look inside the prayer and you begin to analyze the prayer, it's simple enough, but it gives you everything. What you're doing is you're being able to see into the heart of the pure devotee and this relationship with the Lord and how to pray. Like we know that Dhruva Maharaj, when he first saw Krishna, he didn't know how to pray. He was tongue-tied. So like a redneck. When I saw Prabhupada, I was like, couldn't say anything, didn't know what to say, Just off in my obeisances, So you become frightened. You become a little bit overwhelmed by the moment. And so these prayers are eternal prayers that exist. So what happened was Lord Narayan touched Dhruva Maharaj on the head with his conch shield. And then Dhruva could pray. What is it called?
Hamsa Guya?
Yeah, Hamsa, that's what it is, right? Hamsa Guya prayers. Yeah, it must be. I can't read the whole thing, but I think that's what it is. Hamsa Guya prayer. Yeah, that's what it is. Hamsa Guya prayer.
That was 6, 4.
Hamsa Guya prayers. So these Hamsa Guya prayers are there, and they're discussed. It's a whole chapter on it. Just this one prayer by Daksha.
Wow.
And so this prayer, if you read this prayer, what happened was Daksha was able to call the Lord by this prayer. Krishna appeared to him. So Daksha then started creating so many children. He had so many, he created so many male offspring. They were the first group. The second was called the Valhalla Hospitals or something like that. The first group was
Demigod.
anyway. The first group, there was 10,000 boys created by Daksha, and then guess what happened? Narada Muni came and liberated them all. It's so transcendental because you hear Prabhupada during that time talk about the role of the sage liberating souls. You get to read that intimate insight of how Prabhupada putting himself in the role of Narada Muni, and it's very, very intimate in the purports. Very interesting, very intriguing, deep, detailed information, but it's all just sentiments. They call these purports the ecstasies of Srila Prabhupada. So you're hearing the ecstasies of Srila Prabhupada in these purports. Yes?
That's the whole chapter 6.4.
6.4, yeah. So the ecstasies of Srila Prabhupada. So anyway, so Narada Muni liberated the first 10,000 boys. So Daksha was a little bit upset. And so Narada Muni talked to him and he said, you know, you can do it again. So then he had 1,000 called a Lala hospitals or something like that. It's there also. And so then they're all meditating and Narada Muni comes and delivers them. So they all go back home. And he does it with an analogy. It's very simple things, you know, to read. But when you read it and you begin to get into the reading of it, a day becomes all of a sudden a different day. Because rather than, you know, getting all caught up in whatever, all of a sudden we're absorbed in this analogy that Narada Muni was giving the sons of Daksha, and they understood it. Prabhupada goes through it line by line, what it meant, and how they understood it. And he's teaching detachment from the material world. And it's there. So what you're getting is you're getting a process of watching a soul make the conscious decision whether to stay in this material world like we are doing now, or within our heart actually making the conscious choice how to get out and why. And you see you have free will. But the souls, because Narada Muni was so expert at delivering it. So Prabhupada in his purport, of course, Daksha got so angry that he cursed Narada Muni. I mean, heavy this guy. He's like, you call yourself a sadhu. You dress like a sannyasi. You don't know nothing about renunciation. You're just, so immature. I've done all this work and you don't understand devotional service. Blaspheming, And Narada Muni's like, just listening. Prabhupada said, he could have got upset, he could have cursed him, he could have done all these things, but Narada Muni just listening, because he knew once he got all this off his chest, he would then have the chance to deliver him. The point is, in these ecstasies of this purport, Prabhupada talking about one thing, how to deliver them. Prabhupada says the same way we're cursed. At one point, Prabhupada said in the purport, he said, because I'm old now and I want to finish the Srimad Bhagavatam, I'd like to stay in one place, because the curse was Narada Muni couldn't stay in one place. He had to keep moving, Narada Muni said, that's great for me. I like that curse. Thank you. And Narada Muni didn't get upset or anything like that. So then, of course, Daksha came around and asked for forgiveness and stuff. But the point being is that Prabhupada puts in the purport, I also have this curse. So you hear Prabhupada's meditation, and Prabhupada's sitting there thinking, what's it like to deliver a worldwide movement where you save a planet? What's it like? I mean, how he must feel sitting there, right? Meditating on this. And he's saying, this is the same way I'm cursed. He said, on both sides. He said, the Brahmins in India say, how can you make these white malechas Brahmins? They're cursing me. He said, in America, the parents are saying, why are you taking my kid? They could have done so much in this world. You're just teaching them how to chant Hare Krishna. You're ruining everything. Prabhupada said, so both sides are cursing. He said, but what can we do? We have to preach. He said, so I'm old. I'm thinking, I want to finish my Bhagavatam. So I want some of my younger people to take this curse. He said, I want y'all to take this curse and let y'all be the preachers. Y'all travel. He said, I've been around the world so many times. So you understand that when we're reading, we're actually conversing with Srila Prabhupada. He knows time is not, there's no such constriction of time with him. He understands the development of so many things. He's empowered by Krishna to deliver all these different transcendental messages that may coincide with the perfect day that you need to hear that message. Think I'm crazy? No. Think about it. Who's the universal controller, the cause of all causes? Who's in control of every, not a blade of grass moves without the sanction of the Supreme Lord? Shaktavish is one who's empowered. Of course, all these things come together. You're reading. What's the point of it? You're becoming purified. Why does Srila Prabhupada waste his time on a fool like me? No one else would have wasted their time on somebody like me. No one else give a damn about a fool like me. A hog farmer, right? If I had some money, maybe I could have got into some. I remember one time I went to the Transcendental Meditation people, and I didn't have the $35 to get the mantra. My benefit, right? I didn't have $35. I was in college. I didn't have any money. I was broke as I could be. And so, who cared about us? No one. Only Srila Prabhupada came. And how much did he care? He looked at me and he saw what a fallen soul. But then he looked me right in my eyes and he told me, this is Krishna. I can never forget that. I can never forget that the greatest soul that ever traversed on planet Earth came to deliver us. I'm part of that. He came to deliver us. I am part of that delivery. So how can I not feel obligated to get others to take part in this becoming Krishna conscious? And that entails reading Prabhupada's books. We have to read these books. We have to become such scholars that when we're reading, we're living the Leela in our hearts and in our minds. We're thinking about renunciation and we're realizing, oh yeah, Daksha was attached to a progenitor. He did his service and he got so much material advancement. He was so, but Narada Muni was so absorbed in just chanting Hare Krishna, traversing the universe, and with his Veena would always be chanting and all that. So we are part of that Leela. Prabhupada said we are disciplic succession of Narada Muni. He said we follow Narada Muni. We're not Daksha. We're not thinking, we're thinking, let me serve Krishna and Prabhupada and preach. Let me distribute Krishna consciousness somehow or another. Let me do it. We're praying for that prayer. This time and next. This time and next lifetime. Prabhu, you're going to take another birth. All of us are probably. Except for the few rare souls who catch the mercy of the lotus feet of the Lord. It happens. It could happen any second. But more than likely, we have to finish just like when who was the king? King Muchikunda was sleeping. And the Lord brought, who is that, Malecha? Huh? Kalyana. Don't want to remember his name. You're such a Malecha. But he got the mercy. But anyway, he came and he kicked Muchikunda, right? So Muchikunda woke up and then, he burned into ashes. But then he looked and he saw Krishna there. And he's like, I've been sleeping a long time. I don't know a lot of what's going on. But you really don't look like an ordinary person. You look different to me. And I'm looking at you. He said, I'm Kalyana, and I was put to sleep here because I'm fighting for the demigods, and I've been sleeping a long time.
Muchikunda.
Huh?
Kalyana got burned. He was Muchikunda.
Muchikunda.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's old age. So Muchikunda was thinking like that, was praying, and he was saying, I don't know what's going on exactly, but somehow or another you look different, and I'm thinking you might be, are you the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So Krishna then said, yes, actually I am. I've come here to deliver. This is Kali Yuga, beginning Kali Yuga, so I've come here. And so he said, so Muchikunda did some prayers and circumambulated the Lord. The Lord said, this is what he said, what do you want? He said, I don't want anything, I just want to be your devotee. That's what he said. That was his prayer. You understand? We know that's going to happen, right? You see Krishna, what are you going to think? You can think, if we could just, have a new house or a new car, or married. We're going to say, I just want to serve you. I just want to be part of your entourage. I just want to stay with you eternally. Like every soul does. When they see Krishna, that's the benediction you get. But the point I'm trying to make is, it didn't happen right then. But you can say, I just want to serve you. The Christian said, okay, that's what you do. You go away to like hardware or someplace, holy place. You go there and you meditate, you become pure, and then you get to go back home next lifetime. You don't just happen now. You know, you have to go through the process of purification. Why? He said, because you killed so many people, you did so many things, you know. You're not ready. You have to go purify yourself. So Lord Chaitanya's mercy is so powerful that now I may be totally mistaken by saying that not a lot of people are going back home back to Godhead, because they are going back home back to Godhead. I'm just not sure that we're quite ready to be totally absorbed. Some are, and I'm not saying I don't know, I can't judge. But I'm saying in my heart, how my feeling about me is, more than likely, I'm going to have to, wake up in one of those wombs where somebody's saying, Prabhu, my stomach. More than likely. I just hope, I always say, I hope I don't hear Elvis playing in the background. And so, as long as I hear Hari Nam in the because you're sleeping in the first part of the womb. You're not awake. But the womb is a horrible thing. This is I'll end on this. People are thinking that death is bad. It's not. Birth is the trick. Birth is the hard part. But are we willing to do it for Srila Prabhupada? Birth after birth. Are we willing to do it? Because we're going to leave our body. We know we're going to leave our body, right? There's nobody here that's eternal, right? So we're going to leave our body. So where are we going? The opportunity is there for us to continue chanting Hare Krishna. In Gokaruna, he can continue being temple commander in the next lifetime. They can say, you're such a good temple commander. How does he get so good? How does he know all the mantras? Not his first time. He said like that. Prabhupada said like that about devotees sometimes. It's not their first time. Japa Takma said it one time, maybe it's his first time. There was somebody really struggling. Maybe it's his first time. So, that's the point. This is a real point. I know it may sound like I'm trying to, go a little bit too far with it, but I don't believe so. I think in my heart that I'm correct in saying that there's a good chance that if we continue to become very, very sincere, every day, realizing that death is not the end. Death is just this chapter. I watched my mother-in-law die, and it was like in a second. I was there chanting Lord Nishingha. I was really chanting it, almost like shoving it in her ear hole, Namaste Narashinhaya Praladadadayane. First she got a little look on her face like, who's that? Ma watched me say, maybe she saw Lord Nishingha Day. I'm thinking, she saw something. It's real quick, and then, 1 second. Not a long, drawn-out death thing. It's like she was normal, scratching her leg, and then died. Death is only a second. It's like, oh, boom, 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 finished, right? So you deal with it. But what happens eternally? So we're an eternal being, an eternal thread. Our confidence has to be so powerful. We have to build up so strong that we are investing every second in the paradigm that we are going to continue to serve Krishna in some capacity. So that means, I've learned how to chant this wonderful prayer, but, I'm not a sannyasi, no, but embrace that prayer. Embrace it esoterically. Make it part of your being. Chant that prayer with love and devotion. Learn how to chant it. There will come a time when you get to chant it to Krishna. Krishna knows what's in your heart. Krishna knows He'll set it up for you to have a chance to chant that prayer to you. He'll arrange it for you to have the chance to chant that prayer. Just like all the devotees in their leelas, like we have so many leelas where great sages, offering the sweet rice, etc. It's all set up by the Lord. And so by Krishna's grace, I forgot to have questions and comments. It's hard to stop when you're going like you're talking, So please forgive me. So questions, comments now, please. Please forgive me.
One thing about seeing the Lord is, Prabhupada said that, we have to have eyes that are anointed with the salve of love. So that's why we're hearing and chanting. We have to have eyes that are anointed with the salve of love. So that's why we're hearing and chanting. But then he also said, when I first joined Krishna Consciousness, I've been reading Prabhupada's books for 7 years. And so Kalindi knew, the past, some of the stories. She was 3. But she knew Krishna and Balaram, Nishingha Dev, and Bhadradip, and so when I joined at Murari Sevak, then she thought she was going to see real Krishna and Balaram running through the pasture grounds. And she was disappointed, like, where are they? And so I told my Guru Maharaj what she had said, and then he said, Prabhupada said, it's more important that Krishna see you serving than that you see him. But when you were making the point, you were talking about the Archa Vigraha, so that should be, well
exactly.
taken. But
No, exactly.
people that want, like, oh, Krishna should manifest himself before me, no.
More bringing up the point of our meditation on the deity. Basically, that's what I'm trying to get at. It's like, how do we see the deity? Who do we understand that that this is actually Krishna? I think that's the point I'm trying to drag out, because it's hard to express these subtle things. But Prabhupada points it out so many times that the Archa Vigraha form is Krishna. That's all I'm saying. What do you think, Molly? You gave such a nice class. I wanted to imitate your class today, but I'm good.
I didn't. You all gave the class yesterday. I gave the first half, and then you all did it. And then everybody's excited. It was a great
I wanted to be
class.
one of those like you, and I have the discussion and make a nice point, but then I get caught up in my mind.
You have to do it by presenting something unsolved.
Yeah, I'm blue. My bad.
Prabhu,
Yes.
this song, Radhe, 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 Govinda Radhe. I was told we should not sing this song.
And what?
We shouldn't sing that
No,
song.
you're talking about me. I heard, somebody said that song was like expecting Radha to give me Krishna or something like that.
I
Expecting.
can't hear you.
That
I
song,
don't know.
somebody told me that song was like requiring Radha to provide Krishna or something like that. Let me have Krishna or something, and it wasn't. I don't know really what the words are. I just heard that.
I'm way below any of those kind of discussions. I don't know nothing. All I know is I'm trying to stay away.
Why'd you bring that up?
Oh, because he was saying focus, like again in Vrindavan, they say Radhe, Radhe.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
we
yeah,
could
no, you
focus on Radhe too.
Well, we always just focus on the mercy of the Lord. I don't know.
Ways of-
There may be some etiquette I don't know about. There may be some details I don't know about. But
Yeah.
I just know that we always focus on the Lord.
Okay, I have to explain this now. It's not that you can't say Radhe, Radhe, but that song, to me, I think, but I heard that the words demand of Radharani to give me Krishna. And I don't know if that's true, but I heard somebody say that. But as far, I don't know, just taste, I think the song is a little it is kind of demanding or something. It's just a movie.
It's sort of like if a child, when you're a little child and he's saying something and it's not correct, you don't pay much attention because he's just a child. He doesn't know what he's saying. So
Yeah.
I'm sure Radharani's looking at us, not thinking.
As long as we approach Radharani with a mood of deep respect and love,
Yeah.
and we ask her to help us achieve Krishna, not to say, Radharani, give me Krishna. I may be a different mood, and I don't really know what the words are in that song. I just heard this, and so he brought that. I guess the question would be, is it okay to pray Radhe, Radhe? Radhe means, oh, Radha. So
I don't know. When I say Radhe, Radhe, all I'm thinking is that please give me some mercy because I'm struggling so hard in this material
Yeah,
world.
but that's a completely.
I've understood you're the most merciful, and please
Yeah.
forgive me. Help me.
Yeah, it just depends what your purpose is in saying that. If that's true about that song, then the purpose is a little different mood than, I don't know.
I guess the way I heard it was they only used Radhe and Govinda and
So you certainly can pray Radhe, it means oh Radha.
Radhe, 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 Radhe. So they just saying, I thought they were just saying, all right.
Prabhupada points out, though, as far as coming to Krishna consciousness, that when Narada was waiting on Daksha to get all this stuff off his chest, Prabhupada was pointing out that Narada Muni knew that Daksha was going to come to the point to where he would be ready to take the Krishna consciousness. At the point, he knew he wasn't ready. But he thought by this process of him being materially frustrated, he would become more inclined. Then Narada Muni could deliver him. So that sometimes, like you see someone in a different situation struggling or something like that, it's a very subtle point, but it means that we understand that they may not be ready, but they will eventually get burned out. The material energy will burn you out eventually.
That's his purpose.
Yes.
Just a quick read what I read so far on Daksha. Daksha created the demigods.
He created a lot of, I don't think he created, he may have created, he didn't, Brahma and Shiva he didn't, I know that, but I'm saying he may have created a lot of the demigods, yeah.
Well, Diti is the mother of
Yeah.
Indra, wasn't she?
Yeah, well, he ended up having a bunch of daughters afterwards, so Narada Muni couldn't deliver them.
Yeah, maybe that was one of his daughters.
He knew if he had males that Narada would deliver them all. So because what happens is to become a progenitor, you had to go through a real austerity. And Prabhupada pointed out that even though Dr. knew his sons were going to be susceptible by going through this austerity, he still would not do it. He had to send them to become purified because that was his duty, to let them go through the process. Just like, yeah, you have to go stay in the ashram. I know there's a chance you'll come out of sannyas or something, but so it's the same way. He was in that situation. You know? He knew that there was a chance he was going to lose his kids, but because it was his duty, he was duty bound to send them to become purified. But then, so he got wise and he started having daughters. And then he gave his daughters all that, and they married all these different demigods and people, and Chandra and Yamaraj, and 3 or 4 to Yamaraj. And so what you're doing is you're gradually going into descendants of, the universe. The creation, I told people, you should go back and read creation again. Everybody should go back and read creation again. Because after I've read creation again recently, it blew my mind. It was like a whole nother realization about creation, And I realized, wow, I mean, if you guys want to talk about, creation, you should read this because it will convince you that this is the real story of creation. If we could present it nicely, if we had the scholastic aptitude to be able to actually deliver Srimad Bhagavatam to in the scholastic environment, we could take over the world.
You're talking chapter, Canto 3, probably, right? Canto 3?
Creation, yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's early on. But I'm saying we could take over the world. If we could repeat Srimad Bhagavatam through realized state, like Srila Vyasadeva or Narada Muni or Srila Prabhupada, then we could change the world. We could take over the world. Why? Because we can convince with knowledge. But what happens is we read it and we start talking about it, and it's like, it's like, I sort of remember the rivers are created by the veins, and the hairs of the trees, and you kind of have some simile of it, but you don't have it congealed. But as you read it, sometimes you can get a realization. Wow, this is real. This is real, real, real. This is it. This is the absolute truth. And it's so scientific. And then we become totally convinced that we're eternally, how did we not know this before this life? I don't know. Maya is very powerful. And how so many people are running around on planet Earth and they don't know about the absolute truth. It's a real, you're right. It's a real weird equation. But the truth is, everything points to the fact that Maya is doing her job really well and that this is the absolute truth. Everything about it. This is the absolute truth. Everything about it. If we surrender our life totally to Krishna, we'll never lose. Not a chance. If you become seriously attached to serving Krishna in a very humble, sincere, enthusiastic way, you will never ever say, oh, I wish I'd have become a lawyer or a banker or a truck driver or something. It's like, so when can you make that choice? Not now. We can make the choice now. Well, I should have done that. It doesn't matter what you didn't do. It doesn't matter. Well, what about, no, it don't matter about the future. It matters about right now. What can you do right now? You can absorb yourself in every ability, train the mind to remember these transcendental pastimes, this Leela of Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? Because if we don't go back home by Godhead this lifetime, which is maybe not, you could. I'm not saying you can't. But if we don't, who do you want to be? Do you want to be, Indradumna Maharaj? Radhanath Swami? Japataka Maharaj? That's where they came from. They came, like Lord Chaitanya, Prabhupada told Japataka Maharaj, he said, you're an eternal associate of Lord Chaitanya. No, Prabhupada. No, I'm serious, Prabhupada said, I'm very serious. You're an eternal associate of Lord Chaitanya. So when you see the manifested qualities that they meant, it makes sense, yeah. So they did it before. Death doesn't matter. That's the thing we got to overcome. Are they thinking, oh, you're going to die? It don't make a damn bit of difference. When you die, you're going to die sooner or later, right? You're going to leave your body. The body's temporary, right? But what you do as you sequentially get ready, then you transmigrate. Where are you going? You go right into the next verse in Bhagavatam. You're the little kid that's sitting there saying, Aham Sarvachapabhavo. How did they do that? If the prodigious realities manifest as the soul goes to the next sojourn, depending on how serious you embrace it. So it's never too late, never too early. If we seriously embrace it now, so we're getting old. Prabhupada said a couple times, he said, sometimes somebody will fall down from Krishna consciousness. He said they should still be considered saintly, but if they fall down a bunch of times, they should not be considered first-class devotee. But they're still a devotee. And he said sometimes when they get old, they will take very seriously to Krishna consciousness. So, I'm saying I fit pretty close to that equation here. So here we are, and here we have this transcendental absolute truth, that's so exciting and so vibrant and so relevant and so absolutely ecstatic. And we're trying to embrace it strongly enough so that we can continue to always be part of Srila Prabhupada's Leela. I don't want to leave Srila Prabhupada. Anything else can happen. That's okay. Don't let me leave the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. Why? Because there's nothing else ever happened in my eternal existence until I met Srila Prabhupada. Now everything matters. Before, nothing mattered. It was just total nonsense. But now everything matters because Srila Prabhupada, somehow or another, for some reason, like he said, Bodhi said, how have we become so fortunate? And he said, I've created your good fortune. Another devotee said, how can we ever repay you? You know what Prabhupada said? Prabhupada said, better you stay in my debt. Better you stay in my debt. Always feel like you owe me. You never can repay me. So that's our position. Prabhupada is our saving grace. No doubt about it. Even the grand disciples, same thing. Prabhupada started the movement, he's the founder of Charya, so it's like we think of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur or Srila Bhakti, you don't think, they're not connected. No, we're always connected to Srila Prabhupada. This is his movement. So he is like the Sinosha of this movement eternally. We always chant his prayers. He's always on the Vyasa Sam. We always offer worship to Srila Prabhupada. And then you have the Guru Parampara as it develops very naturally. I think it's working wonderfully. So our Krishna consciousness movement, we just have to keep on praying to Krishna. That individually, we study Srimad Bhagavatam as if we're just entering Krishna Consciousness 101. We're just beginning. I want to be expert in Srimad Bhagavatam. I want to be expert in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I want to be that person somebody asks the question, like Yogendra. Ask Yogendra a Krishna book question. He knows every little detail about Krishna book, what color the lotus leaf was or something. He never forgets anything. He's really absorbed in Krishna book Leela. So we had a Krishna bowl with him and Veer Krishna Maharaj one time. I was a little shaky, at the time. But, Yogendra knows and he remembers something. So that's the thing. We're gonna be a continuum. We're forming a new person now. We're becoming a new person now. You're not gonna be in that body like that. So we're forming a new persona. And that persona, the more we integrate it with Krishna persona, our eternal relationship, that's the secure platform. Doesn't matter when you die. People see you getting old, they think, oh, poor old person. I look at them and think, oh, poor young person. Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Sadhu.